Chameleons! Now it's Miss Smith here with another instalment of the Danger Gang book that we've been reading. Now, we've just had a really exciting event where there was the weird weather going on, and Frankie grabbed his brother and it ended up in the basement, and it just says, "We were safe," but we're not convinced. Max and I made ourselves comfy on Dad's dog-chewed armchair. Max fell asleep and I found a box of Dad's Star Wars toys from when he was a kid, the ones that are still in their boxes and aren't to be played with. Well, I figured it could be our last night alive, even if we did survive the freaky storm. Then Dad probably wouldn't, so we didn't have anything to lose by playing with his toys. All the excitement of the pizza, the explosions, the funky lightning and the Star Wars figures must have exhausted me more than I realised. I suppose I fell asleep, as the next thing I knew, I woke up in my own bed. That was this morning. I ran to the window and looked out at the perfectly ordinary sunrise over Freaky. Nothing had been destroyed by the green storm. In fact, it didn't even look like it had been raining. There was no damage to the cars, no damage to the rooftops of the houses, and I'd zapped them with lightning just a few hours before. The swing outside Jamelia's house swung gently in the breeze, and Susie's parents at number 8 were both outside, gardening and humming to themselves. Weird. I found Mum, Dad and Max in the kitchen. Mum was programming her breakfast into the Pancake-O-Matic. "Morning, sweetheart. Did you have fun last night? It was a good idea of Dad to let you sleep in his man cave away from that storm. And aren't you lucky that Dad let you play with his Star Wars toys?" Mum said. Dad smiled at me nervously. "Yeah," I replied, relieved that Dad didn't seem mad at me and that he'd survived the storm. "That storm was bonkers." Mum sighed. "Yes, it was a shame my weather ray hasn't got It's a shame my weather ray hasn't got its limiter installed yet, or we would have zapped that straight into the nice clear sky in a jiffy. See, I knew that would have been a good idea." "And you have to rebuild your lab too?" I said. "Rebuild?" Mum frowned. "Yeah, the lightning blast, a hole in the wall there was a tornado, and..." Mum dropped her pancake and darted to the lab door, and she ripped open my door, and my jaw dropped. It was totally back to normal. Spotless. Had I not seen the storm tear through the house on my own eyes, I would never have believed it. Dad chuckled. "You must have dreamed it." "As if. That's impossible," I gasped, staring at this pristine lab. "Nothing's impossible in here," said Mum with a smile. But, I saw it. It was a total wreck." "Must have been all that extra cheese in your pizza before bed," Mum said, shooting Dad one of those looks before heading into her lab to start investigating stuff. She's still in there now, and Dad's doing the washing up. He keeps looking over his shoulder and mouthing something at me, like he's trying to tell me something without Mum hearing, but I can't quite work it out. I told him I had to write a letter to you and didn't have time to play his silly games, and took my toast to my bedroom, and that's where I am right now reading this. I guess Dad must have cleaned up the mess while I was asleep. Sometimes it's not best to ask questions. Ignorance is bliss, that's what Dad says anyway. It was one freaky night in Freaky though. Right soon, Frankie. April. Danny, thanks for your letter, it was great, but I can't talk about that now because it's an emergency. This is not a drill. Something happened at school today and I don't know what to do. You're the only person in the whole universe that I could possibly tell this. It's top secret. Military level secret. If this information falls into the wrong hands, then the person's life might be in jeopardy. All right, maybe that part wasn't totally true, but I just wanted to scare your nosy sister in case that she was reading the letters. I assume you're alone now. I can trust you, right? Ready? Okay. It happened at school this morning. Every Tuesday morning after history, we have swimming lesson in the school pool. I can guess what you're thinking. A school pool? Your school must be one of those super fancy posh ones with ponies and tennis courts. Well, think again. Everyone at my school hates swimming. First of all, the changing rooms are freezing. There are icicles hanging from the coat pegs and frost covering the locker doors. There's stinky black mould on the walls and puddles of every suspicious looking water on the floor that we have to tiptoe around. We have to wear those awful school uniform swimming trunks, costumes for girls obviously. They're not stretchy and colourful like the kind you'd wear if you're on holiday to Barbados or Bermuda or Disneyland. They're really tight grey and really scratchy. And the worst part is our swimming teacher. Mr. Kovos is nearly 7 feet tall, as skinny as skinny as a goggle strap and has a terrifying pop-out bright blue eyes like a demonic swimming robot. He is very concerned that everybody learns to swim and is safe in the water and that there is no messing around in his pool. He shouts and screams, and whenever he shouts and screams, he also spits. Remember those mysterious puddles I told you about? Everyone has to learn to swim. No expectations. That's the rule. That's totally fine by me, because I learned to swim ages ago when our families both went to Funlin's Fun Camp for a whole summer. Do you remember? Our parents rented those awesome caravans and parked them next to each other, and we had our own swimming pool in the middle until my dad said that your dad could jump off the roof into the pool, and then our mum must made park the caravans further away in case we tried to copy them. But still, it didn't stop us trying. Anyway, all the other children in my class can swim too, except for one, this unfortunate person called Eric Flipperson. I think I might have mentioned Eric before. He lives on my street. He's some of the other kids in my class, and sometimes we even walk home from school together. Eric's a nice kid. He's got curly blonde hair and lots of freckles. He's friendly and good at art, and he's reading comics. He's pretty confident too, most of the time, but not when we have swimming lessons. Every single time we have a swimming lesson, this happens. We trudge out of the changing rooms trying to cover up our really grey, really tight, really scratchy trunks and dodging the suspicious puddles on the tiled floor. We line up alongside the pool in alphabetical order. Mr. Kovas barks commands at us, and we do some warm-up stretches. He blows his whistle and we all jump in. The pool is even colder than the changing room. Eric does not jump in. He stands by the wall, his legs go wobbly and his skin goes grey, a little bit like his swimming trunks. Mr. Kovas' pop-out eyes pop out even more. Finally, he has to come and give Eric some words of encouragement to get him into the pool. He pushes him in. The pool isn't even that deep, and we can touch the bottom. I don't really see what the big deal is for Eric, but I guess everyone's scared of something. Except me, I'm not scared of anything. Eric splutters to the surface, splashing and coughing and shivering. We tried to make him feel better. "You can do it, Eric," I whispered, giving him a thumbs up. "Only 2 lengths to go," said Jamelia, smiling. That's right. The worst thing about Eric not being able to swim is that the rest of us aren't allowed to get out of the freezing cold pool until the whole class completes 2 lengths. That means we have to wait for poor Eric, who could whiz up and down in the lanes like we could whiz up and down in the lanes like we were competing at the Olympics, but we have to still hang about while Eric struggles and splashes. Sometimes he actually swims. Well, walks. I think his feet are touching the bottom the whole time. So slowly it looks like he's actually going backwards, and by the time we get out, our fingers and toes are wrinkly elephant skin as my granny's neck. But the swimming lesson this morning was a little bit different. And we're going to freeze it there, and we will come back another day to find out why this swimming lesson was different. Hope you guys are all staying safe and well, and I get to see you very soon. Bye.